The whole point of me starting to play left-handed was to get an understanding exactly what my beginner lessons go through. Obviously I started the game 10 years ago, but that was a very long time. And what I want to know is, how do you get good at this game quickly? And let me tell you. The bits I'm about to tell you guys that potentially have just started the game, these bits that I've worked on more, I've seen more progress in terms of strike, distance and consistency. Guys, how you doing? Welcome back to a brand new video, late night training session. I found a pattern of going to the gym in the morning, training long drive and left-handed stuff in the evening. Blake's gone to bed, Mary's at home doing a tiny bit of work, and we're gonna go to the range now. Do some left-handed practice, give you guys an update exactly where we are. Obviously it's been a very disruptive year to try and get as good as I can left-handed, but we're still ploughing on, and I want to show you where my swing is. But not only that, for you guys that have just started the game, lots of beginners have obviously started this year, and you want to get good fast, and number one, be patient. But at the same time, there are a few things that I've now come across because I've tried all the drills, all the training methods that even I incorporate in a lot of my lessons, and which ones work the quickest and give you the best results. We're down here at Lower Henwick driving range. Gonna hit some 7-irons, gonna hit some hybrids. I'm gonna give you an update on basically how I'm swinging it and how I'm hitting it. And the advice I'm about to give to you all beginners, and potentially for some of you guys that have been playing the game for a while, it's good to go down back to the basics and just simplify everything. Now, I'm not saying this is right, but this is purely from my experience. Over the last, staggered 8 months of in and out of lockdown, I've tried swing path drills, I've tried centerness strike drills, I've tried every drill that I know of that I've helped my lessons in the past. However, the bits I'm about to tell you guys that potentially have just started the game, these bits that I've worked on more, I've seen more progress in terms of strike, distance and consistency. So here's my 3 tips from a golfer that can hit the ball right-handed but literally couldn't tell their body what to do left-handed. There was no motor programs, there was no core, there was no structure. Swaying and sliding is my number 1. This is technically a fault in the golf swing. You move yourself away from the golf ball, is going to give yourself consistency issues in the advanced stages of your golf swing. However, left-handed, I physically couldn't put my weight back behind the golf ball. I constantly reverse pivoted, i.e. putting all my weight on the front foot and then backing off the golf ball, holding off my finish, thinning them, topping them, you name it. The only way I could tell my body to get used to the idea of being behind the golf ball was swaying, putting all my weight onto that back foot and then sliding into the golf ball. This was messy, it took a long time, but overall, after a bit of practice, I got used to loading that left hip, which is crucial for distance and it's crucial for centerness of strike, hitting down on the golf ball, being able to use your woods off the ground, and actual consistency to the point that you don't think about hitting the golf ball. The body just slots itself nicely and that ball catches, that club catches the ball first and then the ground. So the only way I can describe it was swaying and sliding, exaggerating that movement to essentially get used to the idea of traveling towards the target when you hit the golf ball. Shortening the backswing. Keeping width, you can see that angle between my left arm and the club there, that 90-degree angle, so important. Now, it took me a long time because I was constantly overswinging and you don't even realize you're doing it when you start the game. It's more of that folding and not keeping that width. This is a massive fault when you're trying to hit the ball consistently. And I shortened my swing to that 90-degree angle and I lost a tremendous amount of difference. But this is a double-sided coin and gives you massive benefits for both. Number 1, you keep that width, you shorten your swing, you're going to hit the ball more consistently, especially if you're adopting number 1. But if you've already got number 1 down, the swaying and sliding, i.e. just proper weight transfer, number 2, all of a sudden you're going to have to find power from elsewhere. You can't rely on your arms. Your arms typically cause so many faults, i.e. consistency or coming over the top. As soon as you shorten your swing and you do it for a month, 2 months, you have to rely on your lower half of the body firing properly to get any kind of distance or any kind of power. There was a great drill in college golf where they basically got the club aligned to parallel to the ground. So essentially like a 730 swing, stop there for 4 seconds, however long,
and then try and hit the ball as far as they can. They only can hit the ball far by firing the hips and using the lower half of their body, and it trains you to create that kind of lag effect. I don't know textbook wise if this is correct. This is purely how I felt, and as soon as I started implementing number 1 and 2 in my practice regime, left-handed, all of a sudden it started to feel a lot more like my right-handed swing, where I wasn't thinking about trying to strike the ball. I wasn't trying to think about stopping my swing in certain places. My body just kind of overtook. This last one, number 3, target practice. This goes to all of you, and the reason I say all of you is because this is the one that even I forget. I spent 6 months working on technique, whether it be swing path, and you look at my swing, like I'm massively into out. There's so many flaws in my swing at the moment, but you've got to remember the target. And when you're practicing the game, you've got to remember that you're practicing to play golf. You're not practicing to be good on the driving range, so you need to implement some target focused practice when you're playing this game, whether it's putting yourself under pressure, changing the target, changing the club, whatever it might be. And as soon as I started implementing not only number 1, 2 and 3, I've seen a massive improvement in my ball striking, my distance, my consistency. My consistency has gone through the roof because I'm thinking less about actually hitting the golf ball, and it's one of the hardest things to do in golf, especially when you start. If you've been playing this game a long time like me, I don't think about striking the ball cleanly. I expect it to happen, and that expectation is the reason that I strike the ball well, and so do a lot of others. Once you've got those 3 things down, that's when you work on your angle of attack or your swing plane, all these advanced things that you might be reading at the moment. Until you've adopted a decent level and give yourself a good number in terms of like a dispersion with each club within 10 to 15 yards, and they all go similar distances, all of a sudden when you start changing and working on different techniques, you're going to see the advantages of those technical changes. But when you start the game, or maybe you've lost a bit of confidence, go back to the basics. Keep it simple. Remember the target, focus on the target, because that's why we play this game. You wouldn't think about throwing a dart at a dartboard. You just throw the dart, and then get that weight transfer towards a target, as well as implementing a bit of lower body action without thinking about it. As soon as we start thinking about these things, we're only going to make it worse. So guys, there you have it. That is basically what I've learned over the last 6-7 months. Agree, disagree, comments down below. Let me know if that makes sense. Let me know if it doesn't make sense. Any questions, I'll be sure to answer. If you wouldn't mind leaving this video a like, subscribing if you are new. Catch you guys there.